All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of the World Oil Deep Dive podcast. Today's topic will be discussing Wellbore Integrity Solutions and how they're shaping the future through innovation, technology, and strategic leadership. Now, typically, we have engineers and product developers come on the show, but today we're going a little more high level as we bring on the CEO of Wellbore Integrity Solutions, Ed Boufarah. Ed, thanks for joining us today.
Austin, good to have you here and look forward to our dialogue.
No, and I understand that the timing couldn't be better here, Ed, because you guys are celebrating your 5-year anniversary over at Wellbore Integrity Solutions. So congratulations to you guys.
Thank you, Austin, and it's a great pleasure to be here with you today. Indeed, it's been a fascinating journey over the past 5 years, but before I walk you through some of the accomplishments, I do want to take a minute here to highlight that none of this could have been accomplished without all the hard work and dedication and passion of the WIS employees around the globe. The team has been the cornerstone of all these achievements. I want to take a minute here to thank every single one of them, who have contributed significantly in this transformation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We love to say that teamwork makes the dream work. And you mentioned there some accomplishments over these last 5 years. Would you mind kind of diving into that for me and walking us through what those accomplishments have been since your founding?
Sure. I'd say first and foremost, we together with our private equity, not just sponsor, I like to call it Roan Capital as a partner. Together with Roan Capital, we've been able to drive a successful carve out of the business and really successfully deploy WIS in over 25 markets, around the globe.
Wow.
That's first. Second, we've established WIS as a global brand, highly associated with quality execution and premium technology. We've been able to establish our 3 product lines globally with great brand recognition. Some of these brands go back over 70 years. We have Red Baron, who's a global leader on the wellbore intervention services.
Right.
Drillco is a global leader in the inspection and repair of tubulars and machining services. Very strong player here in North America and other key markets around the world. And Thomas Tools is a company predominantly in North America, very strong in tubular rentals as well as BOP rentals. So, we've been able to establish these 3 brands globally in over 25 markets with a great reputation around quality execution and industry leading technology and domain expertise. Third, which is an area that I'm really proud of. WIS has in its DNA a relentless customer focus around customer service and quality execution in the field, and not just execution in a safe and efficient manner. We've been able to not only maintain the business that came with the acquisition with the quality execution and differentiated technologies that we have, but we've been able to grow our businesses in each of the key markets around the world. I'd say this is another major accomplishment. And last but not least, we continue to double down on R&D investment to focus on differentiated products with value propositions priced at premium pricing in the market space.
Very, very interesting, and obviously a laundry list of accomplishments in just a short amount of time, right? And I understand that, Ed, you took over as CEO in 2022. Is that correct?
That's correct. In July 2022.
July 2022. So you've had about 3 years in the role now. Now, when you stepped in, what were some of those top priorities, given all of those legacy brands that you were taking over, obviously already being a global business and well-renowned across the globe? What were some of those priorities as you entered the marketplace and as CEO of WIS?
Sure. Shortly after I joined, I got together with my management team and we focused quite a bit on developing a strategic transformation for the business, really focused on what I would call profitable growth. And this is not an Ed strategy. This was a strategy that was built from the bottom up with a very experienced management team, that I have. And we laid out a clear strategic plan to transform the business, along the lines of profitable growth, and strategy was communicated to everyone in the organization, so everybody had a clear understanding what the strategy is. The transformation was really based on 5 key pillars, which were crucial to drive that strategic transformation. First is the area of profitable focus. And what I mean by profitable focus, it entails getting out of non-performing markets and doubling down on key critical markets for us, which from a long-term standpoint are always attractive,
Right.
and with some of the global NOCs and IOCs and OFS companies. As a result of that, we've been able to increase share profitably in some of these key markets in areas such as well intervention as well as plug and abandonment work. The second area we focused on was margin expansion. We got together with some of the strategic suppliers that we have, negotiated long-term agreements with some of these strategic partners, and we're able to drive more cost efficiency out as a result of these agreements. And the other part for margin expansion, we really introduced differentiated technologies as part of the product mix, which come in at premium pricing with the differentiated technology.
Okay.
The one area we also focused on is not only we've been able to drive double-digit growth in our top line from a revenue standpoint, but we've been able to drive significant reduction in SG&A. This is the operating cost of the business over the past 3 years. We're going to continue with that trend, going forward. And financial discipline, really, being very disciplined about investing our capex dollar and on optimizing the return and force ranking, where we're going to invest from a capex standpoint, and really paying a lot of attention on working capital efficiency, whether it's the right level of inventory and the right level of receivables, and a lot of focus on liquidity went into the business to help improve the liquidity of the business. And last, by not least, but you'll always hear me talk about this. Technology is an inherent part of the DNA of the WIS organization. We really doubled down on R&D spending with the objective of really introducing technology that's clearly differentiated with a value proposition to the market, and we've been very successful at this over the past 3 years. All of this translated to significant EBITDA improvement in the business. We've been able to double the EBITDA from 2022 to 2024. We closed a great year in 2024, and I continue to be very optimistic for 2025, in spite of some of the headwinds that we see in the market in 2025.
Interesting. So I want to kind of transition this conversation towards, industry trends and maybe company vision for Wellbore Integrity Solutions, Ed, if that's okay with you. And so my first question on this topic would be, what trends in wellbore lifecycle management do you think will define the next decade?
Okay. Before I answer the question on trends, I do want to highlight that, from the inception of WIS, we wanted to position the company as a global player across all the different oil and gas life cycles, meaning that we play in the drilling, completion, production, plug and abandonment side of the business, across all the different segments from an oil and gas life cycle, which is a competitive advantage, for us, because we're not tied to one cycle of the business. We
Right.
play across the whole life cycle. From a trending standpoint, I'm very convinced that WIS is very well positioned to take advantage of the trends in the industry going forward. And here's the reason why. We're going to see more spending from a well intervention standpoint, and that's specifically along the lines of operators are going to get more out of existing wells, and they're going to be very prudent with their capex dollars for new wells. And we're very well positioned from a well intervention standpoint to take advantage of more spending with existing wells along the lines of production optimization. We're very well positioned from a technology, global footprint, as well as service footprint to take advantage of more of that brownfield spending, in the future. The other area we're very well positioned in is the plug and abandonment side of the business.
Okay.
There's quite a bit of wells that's going to come to that will come to their end of their life cycle, and WIS is very well positioned again from a technology standpoint and global footprint to take advantage of the growing market from a plug and abandonment standpoint.
No, that's great, Ed. Those are two areas that can definitely be leaned on. Now, obviously, being in the upstream for the past 7 years myself, I know that this can be a volatile marketplace, right, with different market shifts. And um, can you walk me through how WIS is positioned itself to handle technology disruptions and market shifts to better help itself moving forward?
Sure. As I mentioned earlier, technology was one of the key transformation pillars, that we've been executing on, and it's an area that we're going to continue to um, double down on going forward. So there's four key areas from a technology standpoint that we focused on. First and foremost, we have a core portfolio of product line with over 120 IPs that we're going to continue to invest in and nurture, and we've doubled down on additional spending from an R&D standpoint for our core portfolio. Second, there are a number of partnerships that we have with what I would call technology companies in niche markets that are very complementary to our existing portfolio, which allow us in certain cases to bring integrated solutions, for the industry. An example of that is we're cooperating with a company very closely where they bring the fiber optics technology, we bring the well intervention technology, and we're able to offer an integrated solution for an industry common known problem known as sustained casing pressure solutions. The third
Interesting.
yeah, the third area that we've been focusing on is an area that I'm very proud of is we have these joint technology development programs with key NOCs and IOCs around the world. And these are technology development programs that are developed based on intricate discussions we have with these customers based on the pain points they want to address. We have a number of these going on, and a number of them is going to be coming out over the next 12 to 18 months. Not only will deploy them with some of these customers, but we'll have the ability to scale them at a global level. And last but not least, from a digital standpoint, this is an area that's close to my heart because of my previous background. We've started investing quite a bit on the digital transformation of some of our product line. If you take Drillco, the tubular and inspection repair business and machining business, the global business, we've recently introduced a cloud-based platform to store all the inspection and repair data for our customers, where our customers would have accessibility at their fingertips for all their inventory in any given location. And that cloud-based system is called Centrix, powered by Drillco AI. We've
Okay.
also invested in the upgrade of the field technology for Drillco so that the inspection can be carried out in a more efficient and high resolution fashion in the field.
Now that's fantastic, and it's great to hear about all those different things that you guys are bringing to the table. You mentioned the digital platform. We've talked a little bit about emphasis on well intervention and plug and abandonment. If you don't mind, if we can get a peek behind the curtain in terms of what you're seeing over the next 5 years as the biggest growth opportunity over at WIS.
So look, that's a great question. There are really five key parts that we're going to focus on to continue driving organic growth in the business. First, from a geographical standpoint, there are still some markets which we consider key that we need to enter. And with the existing footprint, there are markets where we can add additional products as part of our existing footprint. So a combination of new market entries and new product line additions to existing markets is going to drive some significant growth for us. Second, from a technology deployment standpoint, we've been able to drive very material growth over the past 2 years in terms of new technology as part of the revenue mix, and that trend is going to continue and gain more traction going forward. Thanks to the new product line introductions with clearly differentiated value propositions that we have been making. The other area we talked about it from an industry standpoint, plug and abandonment work and well intervention work. WIS is very well positioned to take advantage of the upcoming growth in those markets.
Right.
And the other thing I'd say is, we've been focusing quite a bit on the geothermal market. And while it's still early stages in that market, we've been very focused with some global players who are big global players in the geothermal market, developing technology from a site tracking, well intervention site tracking standpoint, specific for the geothermal market. And the initial feedback has been very promising, and we expect to gain more traction in that market going forward. So all of the above is from an organic standpoint. Now, as far as an inorganic standpoint, we're in 25. We have a global footprint in 25 markets around the world, key markets, and we can easily add new product lines through acquisitions to take advantage of the global footprint. So all in all, we remain very optimistic about the growth potential of the business. There's simply still a lot to do.
No, that's fantastic, Ed. And we've seen a lot in the industry today that collaboration, as much as technology, is a key factor in the success of companies, right? Whether that's collaboration with your customers or partners and so on and so forth. Where does that play a part, especially moving forward for a company like Wellbore Integrity Solutions?
Customer collaboration and customer intimacy is an area that's near and dear to my heart, and really it's ingrained as part of the DNA culture of WIS.
Okay.
And it all starts with quality execution and safe execution, around the world for our customers. And fortunately, we're blessed with the technology as well as the manpower domain expertise. The combination of these two things allow us to bring that efficient service execution and safe execution to our customers. It all starts there.
Okay.
Second, we listen to our customers, and from a technology standpoint, we collaborate with them very closely to address quite a bit of their pain points, and this is clearly evident in the technology development where we collaborate closely with some of our key customers to address their pain points with new technologies introduced. And last, we have a culture of continuous improvement. If we learn something in Mexico, we could easily replicate that in Saudi Arabia. And the fact that you have a footprint in 25 different countries, we're laser sharp at our product lines, and we have a culture of continuous improvement. All of the above really help us to maintain an intimate and focused approach to our customers, which really what has allowed us to grow our market share with IOCs and NOCs and OFS companies around the world over the past 5 years.
Absolutely. No, fantastic answer. And I think, in a world where collaboration is key, obviously it has to be at the forefront of your strategy moving forward. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are keeping that, at the forefront. I want to pivot a little bit, Ed, here toward back to technology, right? Because WIS is unique in that it has legacy brands that we talked about earlier in Red Baron and Drillco, and obviously new technologies that they're bringing to the table. Now, if I could pick your brain a little bit, what is one technology that you're proud of that's coming out in the future or that already has come out recently?
Frankly, there are a number of areas that we're very proud of the new technology we've introduced. It's hard to pick one, but I'll talk about a couple of product lines that we're very proud of. First, from the Promel Duo family of product lines that we've introduced, over the past couple of years, specifically for well abandonment. Dual casing section milling has always been considered a challenging application in the industry. But with the introduction of the Promel Duo family and True Edge milling structure, we've been able to deploy that very successfully with different markets around the world. The TrackMaster Nexus is the next generation of our flagship side tracking product line, what's known in the industry as whip stocks. Uh, TrackMaster Select is a flagship product in that market segment, and TrackMaster Nexus is the next generation of that product line. We're very uh, positive and very optimistic about the outlook for that product line based on some recent trial runs for our customers where we've been able to reduce trip time, save significant break time for our customers, reduce the CO2 emissions. So that product line is looking very promising, and not only in the U.S. but at a global level. Those are some of the two key areas that we can talk about. In addition to that, I should mention Drillco here from a digital transformation standpoint. The combination of the technology upgrade that we've done for our field inspection units, as well as the cloud-based architecture, Centrix powered by Drillco AI. We believe this is a unique combination to the inspection and repair, market segment that we're going to bring to the table.
Well, that's certainly a lot to be proud of, Ed. So I'll leave you with one more question, and it continues on this theme of outlook, looking forward, right? And so tell me, looking ahead, what role do you see WIS playing in shaping the future of wellbore integrity and intervention services globally?
I am stubbornly optimistic about the future of WIS. Uh, and I say that because the differentiated technology portfolio that we're going to continue to invest in, combined with the global footprint that we have in all the critical markets around the world, and you add to this the significant manpower expertise that WIS have around the globe
Right.
in the well intervention services, in the tubular rentals, as well as the tubular inspection and repair side. Um, I am very optimistic in particular about WIS's leadership role that we will play in well intervention, um, in the production optimization space, brownfield opportunities, as well as the plug and abandonment space. The people of WIS globally, the technology of WIS globally is a great recipe that's going to allow us to continue to drive double-digit growth in the business. And every day we're becoming more focused about, how to improve the performance of the business. All of this makes me get out of bed very excited about what WIS has to offer and the passionate people of WIS.
And as you should be, Ed. And look, we're running it low on time, so I want to say a heartfelt thank you for coming on and joining this show. We know as a CEO of Wellbore Integrity Solutions, that your time is valuable and you're very busy. So we appreciate you taking the time to join the show. And for our viewers at home, you can also check out more information on Wellbore Integrity Solutions in our show notes below. Ed, thanks again for joining the show. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Austin, thank you, and good to spend time with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care.